So this is my 2019 BMW 330i. Basically I just want to do a quick review, I guess, how the car's held up over time, how I like it. You know, I had it for a month and a half. The car is 2019, so it is like 5 years old. So it's in very good condition still. For being 5 years, I mean, obviously it still looks like a new car basically. The only things are like a few rock chips in the front, like every car basically. So mainly like on the grille, there is one here and another one here, and then on the hood there's a few like that around the car. So yeah, it is on the original tires. The tread, it's okay, it's probably like 3 mil or something. For 5-year-old tires, it's not too bad. The car has like 80,000 kilometers on it, which is I think 50,000 miles for anyone watching in the States. But yeah, we'll see the interior, how it's held up. Guess we'll start with the front. It's a white interior. It's pretty good. The leather's holding up really well. So this is usually where they wear, right here, because when you get in and out, your body slides on this part, right, and it can wear out. But yeah, it's pretty good condition. Same with the steering wheel, you know, not too bad. Rear seats, I mean, no one's ever really sat back here. Rear end of the car. Overall, it held up really well. It's in good condition. So we'll take it for a drive and I'll talk about it inside the car as we're driving. Yeah, we'll go for a drive. I'll talk about it. Yeah. Guess I'll talk about like the comfort of the car first, you know. So it is very comfortable, of course. 3 Series BMW. You've got all the tech, everything you could ever need in a daily driver. Go through this tunnel, it's pretty nice. This car is very good at, like, very nice to drive at night because of the digital gauge and the screen, especially if you have it optioned with ambient lighting. It's a very nice, like, car to cruise around in the night. Drives good, suspension is nice for a daily. If you get the M Sport package, you get dampening suspension, so it stiffens up a little bit if you want to drive it a bit hard. But you know, at the end of the day, it is just a 330i, so people who are buying this are usually buying it as like a daily driver. But yeah, back to like the tech. It is a little, like, sometimes it's a little bit laggy when you first start up the car. Like, as you just saw, I pressed the home button, it took like a little bit to respond, but it's got everything you really need, you know. Going through some of the settings, right? Like, I usually just leave it on the map. And it's nice, like, to control it with this dial, because if you control it on the screen, you know, you get fingerprints on it and stuff. A lot of the areas where there's gloss black around the screen, and then this area here, not much, which is good, but those areas you see a lot of the dust or fingerprints, you know. So I always keep a microfiber cloth in this car to keep it clean. The knob is also a touchpad, so it's pretty useful. Another thing, auto start, I always keep that off. It is one of those things that are kind of annoying about this car, because you have to turn it off every time you get into the car. It doesn't just stay off if you keep it off. Like, I had a Porsche Boxster, and in that I turned it off and it just stayed off the whole time I owned the car. But in this car, every time you get in, you have to press that button, otherwise the car just turns itself off at every like light. So with this car, it's optioned, well, in Canada we can only get them with XDrive, so it's an all-wheel drive system. I believe in the States they have this car available in rear-wheel drive, which would be better for this car because of the weight savings. Obviously, if you're buying it for a daily, you don't care about that stuff, but you know, slightly better gas mileage, you know, handling's a little bit better if you just don't include the all-wheel drive system. In certain situations, obviously, if it's snowing, you want XDrive, but if you live in a place where it's just sunny, then rear-wheel drive is fine. I think it's like a 400-pound weight difference between the XDrive and the rear-wheel drive model. But yeah, unfortunately in Canada you can't get the rear-wheel drive. It would be fun. It's a 60-40 split for this rear-wheel or all-wheel drive system, I mean. So 60% power to the rear and 40% to the front, so it's a rear-wheel drive bias. I've gotten it to kick out a bunch of times. Like, the car will slide, the rear end will kick out if you try. Especially in the rain, I've gotten it to kick out in the dry many times. So this car, the power is 255 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. Has a lot of torque. This car really goes, you know, like lots of passing power on the highway. So I was really surprised with the power delivery of this car. It's like, basically it's like instant. Just floored it there in comfort mode. Yeah, very good power delivery. This car is like, you feel the front end lift up a little bit when you give it power. We're on a straightaway right here. I'll launch it. I've launched it before in the rain and it didn't slip, surprisingly, at all. So the XDrive system really puts the power down well. So put foot all the way to the floor on the brake. Sport mode, of course, traction off, and floor the gas. Let it build boost. Very quick off the line. Like, the first, second, and third gear, you really feel it. In between each shift, you really feel it. Very good power delivery on this car. Pretty impressive for a base model BMW. But yeah, as you saw, when I launched it there was slight slippage. There's one thing that bothers me about this car, is it not having paddle shifters. So I've seen some in the States where they have it, but in Canada the only way to get paddles for this model is to get the M Sport package. So it has the different steering wheel, obviously, and it comes with the paddle shifters. But in the States I've seen these with paddle shifters, so I'm not sure why Canada didn't get them. Yeah, I'm not sure why Canada didn't get them. I know on the LCI model of this one, so the newer version, the updated one, it has paddle shifters even on the base model. Of course you have to, because there's no more of this in the LCI. No other way to downshift. This road is very fun when it's dry. When it's wet, like, you can't really go that hard, but yeah, in the LCI model, yeah, it has paddle shifters because they removed this. Now it's just like a button thing that you move up and down. Like, if it's kind of a deal breaker for you, if the car doesn't have paddles, which to me it kind of was. Like, once I heard that, I didn't really want to buy it, but you know. Because it is kind of weird not having paddles in a car like this. Wow, the power delivery is crazy on this car. Like, handling is pretty decent. It's a little bit on the heavier side, I guess. 3,800 pounds. Like I said, the XDrive system adds, I believe, like 400 pounds to it. Right, you got the front differential, front axles, front drive shaft, you got the transfer case. All these things, they add weight. So yeah, it's a little on the heavier side for a 3 Series, I would say. Like, you know. But yeah, the suspension, handling wise, on that kind of driving, you do feel some body roll. Yeah, you feel some body roll, so you would have to, then again, it's not really a driver's car, but if that would really bother you, you'd have to get the M Sport, because that one comes with a dampening suspension and you can, you know, obviously stiffen it up. And I believe actually the ride height is slightly lower too on the M Sport. So yeah, that would make it handle better. Plus on the M Sport, it comes with I believe it comes with Michelin Pilot Sports, and the wheels are bigger. I think these are 18s, and on the M Sport they're 19s. So yeah, suspension, wheels, and tires would make it handle a lot better. But yeah, in the end, like, if you're looking for a daily driver, this car is not much money. Like, this one, I paid 28,000 for it, Canadian. So I think American, that would be like, let me just guess and say like 22,000 American. I'm not 100% sure. 22,000 US. So it's not that expensive of a car. Like, it costs as much as a, maybe like a Honda Accord used or something, like a, yeah, I'd say like a used Honda Accord. It costs the same. So thing is, if you're cross shopping between a Honda Accord and then you're thinking maybe to get this, I would say get this, because with this engine, it was developed with Toyota, because in the States they also put the 2-liter version of the B48 into the Supra, and then they put the B58 3-liter into the Supra. That's only in the States. In Canada, we only got the 3-liter Supra. But yeah, these B48 engines and the B58, they're very bulletproof. From what I've read online, like, no issues. So then why would you even settle for a Honda Accord if this has just as good of reliability, you know? Maybe even better. Depends which Accord you get, because the 1.5 liters, I heard they have some issues, oil dilution, stuff like that. The 2-liter I heard is good, but then again, yeah, I think I would take this over any Honda Accord. And again, with the gas mileage, it uses premium gas, but you get 700 kilometers out of one tank, right? So there's that too that you have to take into consideration. This car is very fuel efficient, especially on the highway. 700 kilometers, and it's about, here in Canada the gas is about, I don't know, like it's $1.90 a liter for 91 octane premium fuel. So it's about $100 to fill it up. So out of $100 you're getting 700 kilometers of range. I've heard some people even hitting 800 kilometers, but me personally, I've only hit like 700 on this. Small annoying thing with this car, AC vent controls and stuff like that. Like if you want max AC, like you have to like press it a bunch of times, you see what I mean? Or you can hold it, and I think it goes to max, or maybe not, but I think to hold it, it'll turn off all the way. So there's that. But then for the controls, so you kind of have to like memorize like where they are, otherwise you're like clicking everywhere. If you want it like just coming forward, or if you want it on your feet too, you know, you'll get used to it of course over time, but that is sort of annoying. I remember there was a time where it just used to be like buttons, you would like click which setting you'd want. Now you have to scroll through. It's not too bad. I know some cars like have it integrated into the infotainment, stuff like that. So there's that. Audio system isn't bad. You can option it with Harman Kardon, which is pretty decent. But you know, stock, or I mean base audio, like the standard option is pretty good. I would say it's pretty loud, good amount of acoustic, good amount of bass in that. But yeah, like, oh, and it has Apple CarPlay too, so that's a good thing. It works really well. I'm not connected to it right now, but you know. But yeah, the car has very good tech. Like it has collision sensing and stuff like that. Yeah, Apple CarPlay, like I said, Type-C input, basic stuff you would really get in any modern car, I would say. There goes the rear end, kicked out like I said it would. And I wasn't even trying to kick it out, that's the funny part. It's sort of just, I felt it slip a little bit and I'm like, why not kind of continue it, right? I'll show you how this is on the highway. We're about to enter it. It's pretty good. The cabin's pretty well insulated from the noise. You know, it's not like too loud or anything like that. Not too much tire noise either. Might be some traffic. But yeah, I don't know if it'll pick up on camera. Like, the road noise isn't too bad. It's probably gonna be hard to pick up maybe because of the rain and stuff like that. So we'll do like a little acceleration. We're at like 80. We'll go from 80 to like 100 or something with it. So we'll get to 80, floor it, 110. So yeah, like even at this speed, like it picks up pretty quickly. The power delivery is pretty good. You can throw it into Eco Pro. It'll show you how much fuel consumption you have. So right now we can put it to cruise control, whatever, for example, and it'll show we're using like 4 liters per 100 kilometers. But yeah, with Eco Pro, I would say like it's only good for like when you're on the highway, because in the city when you're in Eco Pro, it's a little bit like, I don't know how to explain it, but kind of like sluggish, I guess. You have to like kind of accelerate hard, and I noticed it shifts gears like at really low RPM, obviously because like it's trying to be economic and stuff, but I don't know, it's just kind of feels kind of like the car feels kind of weak like driving it in Eco Pro in the city. In the city I leave it in comfort mode. Accelerates a bit quicker, you know. And the transmission is very well, like it shifts pretty quickly. It's not DCT, it's just the ZF 8-speed, so it has a torque converter. And yeah, like it shifts pretty quick, you know, adapts pretty well to how you're driving. Like if you're driving kind of like economically in the city, you know, it'll shift at lower RPMs, like I said, in Eco Pro especially. And it shifts through like the gears pretty quickly in Eco Pro. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I missed to talk about. I do want to wrap up this review because I don't want it too long. So yeah guys, that's just the review of the 2019 330i. Overall, very good car, you know, no issues. It's got the reliability, the tech, it's got power. So yeah, I would say you should buy this car because the price is pretty cheap too. Like I said, I paid 28,000 Canadian for this, so you get all of that for a good price. It's a 5-year-old car. And yeah,